Tonight it was all about change. Stephen Harper and the Conservatives are out. Justin Trudeau is in as our 23rd Prime Minister with a very strong majority government. To break down what's happened, we bring in the Alberta correspondent for Maclean's magazine, Jason Markusoff. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
You're probably a little tired today.
It was quite a night. I was at Conservative Party headquarters at the TELUS Convention Centre.
What was it like there last night?
You know, they announced, people started coming in, the Conservative Party supporters started coming in just as the polls were closed, 7:30, and a few minutes later, after some of those big returns in Atlantic Canada, the TV stations were already ready to declare a Liberal government.
Right.
It was really quiet. You know, it felt like, I wrote in Maclean's this morning, it felt like being at a funeral.
Really?
People were shuffling their feet, coming in, you know, shaking hands, trying to force smiles. People were pretty quiet. They were, you know, I think they were almost too shocked and resigned to even boo Justin Trudeau.
Wow. What did you make of Harper's speech? I mean, I watched it last night, and it seemed like he was sort of relaxed or relieved. What do you make of it?
He was gracious in defeat. He wasn't bitter. He talked about his own accomplishments. He said, you know, the disappointment, I bear responsibility for it. What he didn't say, and this surprised a lot of people, maybe even surprised people there, he didn't actually announce the fact that he had resigned as leader.
Right. Yeah.
He left that to a statement by the party president elsewhere. So there were people who were leaving the convention hall thinking that Harper was still the party leader and probably wondering what was happening, even though he announced it. So it was very, you know, weird thing that he would leave that to surrogates.
Sure, sure. He has mentioned this morning he will stay on as an MP. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's very unusual and unseemly, I think, for people to do what Jim Prentice did last year and announce, as people were still counting votes, that he's not going to bother taking them up on their offer to be their MP. He's at least going to be MP. That's the least a politician can do.
Right, exactly. Well, of course, we have to talk about Justin Trudeau. So a landslide majority victory, huge numbers. What do you make of this triumphant lead?
You know, sometimes reminding a lot of Alberta, as we saw the results coming in Atlantic Canada, places, they were winning in places that the pundits and the pollsters never would have expected.
Yeah.
It reminded me of what was happening with Rachel Notley in Alberta. And nationally, as in Alberta, people craved change.
Yes.
And they saw that this guy was the one to bring change. The NDP vote completely collapsed. They lost some seats in Toronto, in Halifax, all over the country. They did not expect to lose. In Quebec, huge losses. And Justin Trudeau got a pretty decisive majority.
He did, absolutely. What can we expect from Trudeau? I mean, he's an entirely different style of governing, for sure.
It's going to be so different. Canada, under his rule, if he keeps his promise, will be legalizing marijuana.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah.
That's something to really, like, you know, wrap your head around that. We're going to be taxing and getting revenue from legal marijuana at some stores, like tobacco or cigarette or alcohol. It's remarkable to think about. He's promised to run deficits to accelerate infrastructure spending, so we could see even a faster timeline on the next Calgary LRT line. We're going to see a very different tone on climate change, although Rachel Notley's NDP and she was stumping for Mulcair, I think that she's going to get along very well with Justin Trudeau. A lot of their policies and views on the world really align. Very
interesting. Of course, first order of business will be appointing a cabinet. Kent Harper, here in Calgary, Liberal. First time since 1968. Is he going to get a cabinet seat, do you think?
I think good money will be on it. Trudeau's going to want to send a message that he really cares about the West. He's tried to really embrace Calgary. He's won 2 seats. Kent Harper in Calgary Centre and Calgary Darshan and Calgary Skyview. Kent Harper is probably the one with more experience, a bit more ready for cabinet.
Sure.
I could see him as something like Solicitor General or maybe something in a justice portfolio, as he is a former lawyer.
Right. This is going to be very interesting to watch, certainly. And we'll hear from Justin Trudeau a little later today as well. Jason, thank you so much for being here this morning. Go take a nap and have another cup of coffee.
Got writing to do still.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Jason. You, of course, can catch him on Maclean's magazine, and he'll have some more articles, I'm sure, later today. Coming up on